This is my overview for Futato chapter 19. You can see here that the chapter deals with possessive suffixes on plural nouns. We've had possessive suffixes on singular nouns a couple chapters ago, and you were to have memorized the suffix endings that go on singular nouns. Here we're going to get another set of endings that go on plural nouns. Now, before you despair that, oh, I have to memorize something else here, think of it positively. When you see these suffixes on nouns, it tells you instantly that the noun is plural, and therefore you know how to translate it. When you see the other ones on a noun, you know instantly that the noun is singular, and you know how to translate it. So try to consider the suffixes as cheats, as helps to you when it comes to translation. So let's go through these. I'm going to be real quick here because I've created separate videos to take you through the endings and the paradigms. I just want to show you what you're going to encounter in this chapter. So you're going to have forms of the suffixes here. Again, our paradigmatic noun has been sus, and so here the suffixes that would go on the singulars are in this column. So we have sus-o would be his horse, sus-sa, her horse, sus-ka, your horse, so on and so forth. Well, these were the endings in the earlier chapter. The suffixes that go on plural nouns, though, are in this column. So we don't have sus-o, like with a singular. We have sus-av, and sus-a-ha, sus-a-ka, sus-aik, sus-ai. Okay, there's a different set of endings here. One of the things you might want to remember is that if your ending has a yod in it, look right here, 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 and all the way down here, look, yod, 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 yod. If your ending has a yod in it, it's a plural ending. And so if it's attached to a noun, the noun's plural. So sus-av would be his horses, sus-a-ha, her horses, sus-a-ka, your horses, so on and so forth. Again, I have a video that takes you through those. Form of the feminine plural nouns before the suffixes. So we saw this too. When you have when you had a feminine noun with your singular suffixes, remember that the normal form of the feminine singular noun, like if we take sus, that's masculine. The feminine would be sus-a. But when you added a suffix, the hey at the end of sus-a, it's comet's hey ending, would turn into a t, a tav. So you'd have sus-at and then your ending. Okay, here, since we're dealing with plural nouns, what's feminine plural? The feminine plural ending is ot. So the feminine plural of sus is sus-ot. So you have your feminine plural form and then your ending. Okay? And you'll notice again, the ending, even though it's feminine, we still have the yod in here. So there's this thing about, in construct, you have that Sarah yod thing going on with masculine plural nouns, but don't let that distract you or discourage you from memorizing things using this memory device that I'm giving you. If your suffix, there they are, if your suffix has a yod in it, just consider it plural. I mean, I want you to memorize these, and I'm telling you, my habit has been when you don't need to memorize something, I'm telling you, you don't need to memorize it. When you do, please follow the advice. You do need to memorize these endings, okay? Just like you memorized the earlier ones. So we'd have here sus-ot-av, sus-ot-ha, sus-ot-ka, so on and so forth. Again, we have a video separate on that. We do have a verb form here that's odd, that's unusual. So you need to pay attention here. There will be things about this verb, yakol, that will not be true of others. You should just, again, pay real close attention to this section because it's just an odd one. So this is one of those you got to take notes on, kind of like halak, the way that behaves, or lakak, like behaves like a first noon. Yakol, again, does its own thing. So the perfect, it's actually pretty regular. Again, don't worry about the vocalization. I could take the vowels out and you would know what to do. Again, if you've been following at all, if I took the vowels out of, let's see, the third feminine singular one, if it was yod, kaf, and then lamed he. No vowels, okay? And I said, does it have a prefix or not? Nope, because I know my vocabulary. I know I have this verb, yakal, plus it has an ending here that tells me it's the suffix conjugation. It's a perfect. Okay, same thing with the next one and so on down the line. So you don't need the vowels. So in the perfect, it's really regular. Notice you got 3 consonants and your normal perfect endings. Okay, the only thing you really have to, again, take note, just typical with perfects, you have a common plural here. But that's it. Everything's normal. Okay, just what you'd expect with a perfect. The wackiness comes when you get to the imperfect. Now, if I gave you one of these forms and I said, catch me, catch it. I'm sticking with our methodology. If I said, take a look at this, yukal, is there a prefix or not? Well, you should immediately say yes, because you have 3 consonants and then a prefix out here. And you'd be correct. This is an imperfect form. Well, that leaves you with the lemma then of vav, kaf, lamed. And you think, oh man, vav, kaf, lamed. Man, I must not know my vocabulary because that one's not ringing a bell. It should ring a bell because remember from the previous chapter, chapter 18, first yod verbs, some of them were originally first vav verbs. So what you have here with yakol is in the imperfect, that original Semitic first consonant vav sort of comes back in the form. That is all you need to remember here. Okay? If you remember that point, I can give you any one of these forms. To kalna. Is that a perfect or an imperfect? Does it have a prefix or not? Well, you know that na is an ending by now, and there's 3 consonants, and here's one out front. Yeah, it has to be a prefix, and it's a tav. That makes sense. It's a prefix. Correct. What's your lemma? Vav, kaf, lamed. Oh, that's right. I didn't memorize any vocab word like that, but some first yod verbs originally began with vav. Okay, I know what it is now. It's yakal or yakol, if you memorize the vocabulary correctly. You got it. You just parsed it. Okay, so the thing to take away from this, again, is to remember, stick with the method I've been teaching you about prefix or not. And then when you come down to the lemma and you see that vav there, don't get freaked out. Remember that some first yod verbs originally had a first vav, and you got it. The rest of the notes there you can read for yourself, and now we hit the vocab, so we're done with our overview. Again, vocabulary is critical. Following the advice that I'm giving you is critical too. I'm giving it to you for a reason. I'm condensing things. I'm telling you what you need to know and what you don't need to waste your time on. So that's the end of the overview.